Hi everyone, welcome to What's Up Wednesday. So I'm working on my F page and I was thinking of doing flowers for my What's Up Wednesday. I was looking in my bin and I pulled out a couple things. I have those little flowers. I thought I had another one in here. I'm sure I do. I just can't find it right now. So I'll find it in a minute. Oh, there it is. So I thought I would use those as well as some that I would make like flowers with my thumb. Like if you kind of go like this or like this with your fingers. I thought that would be interesting. Just because it is an awful winter day out there. It's nasty. It's blizzard-like conditions. So I thought I would kind of like, you know, make it feel like spring in my art journal. So I thought I would just go with it. So let's start off by using some gesso. Normally you guys see me use this, but I'm just going to use up this. So I'm going to gesso the page, dry it, then I'm going to come back and then I'm going to create a background. So hang tight. We're going to jump into fast forward. All right, so just as I did last week, I am going to create a sky background with the salty ocean, broken china, and white picket fence. I might add in some dark blue ink just because I wanted to kind of make it a little different than this one. So I think I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. So I may or may not put the white in, but anyway, let's get going.
Okay, so here instead of using the distress stain like I said I was going to, I actually went into my paint stash and there's all these folk art different paints in different colors of blues, and so I just decided I was going to just go with it and just try using it, and apparently I had two of the paints that were completely dried out, so I ended up checking them out, but I wanted to try and create a different kind of background than the last one I did. And this last blue paint was a tube of paint that I had in those art supplies. And here I'm just adding some water just to kind of mix things up a little bit. And I got way too much paint on my page and way too much water. So I ended up like getting a mess, and I had to actually wipe paint off of the other pages just because it got everywhere. So I guess that's kind of a lesson. This book is a little bit smaller, so you have to really kind of watch how much paint and medium you put on it. I probably would have been fine if this was the bigger Dilutions art journal book, but because it's a smaller one, I have way too much paint on here. And so now I'm just spraying some paint to just kind of like get some of that paint off of there. And just create kind of a different background, but I didn't like how it was looking, so I actually end up taking that piece of paper towel that I have there and then just kind of blotting everything off. So I like that look, but you're gonna see in a second here, I'm going to just kind of change it up just a little bit just to kind of darken it. So I'm going to take that darkest blue paint and just take a piece of the paper towel and just kind of, blot it in there, just twisting the paper towel around just to kind of give it a different kind of mottled look. So here we're just going to keep blotting and changing the background up.
Okay, so I came up with this very mottled looking background and I got way too much paint on here. So you can see it's really saturated some of these pages. But I'm not too worried about it because what I've been doing is I've been taking, say for example, this page, I glued two pages together. So I'll glue these two pages together, and really honestly, I mostly gesso over each of the pages, so I'm okay with that. Oh, look at my hands. So anyway, I think I'm going to create some sort of, I don't know, green space down below here. I think I like how this is very mottled looking. So I think I might just kind of keep going with that. I've just used a piece of paper towel. And I think what I'm going to do is I'll start off with a darker color just so that I can cover up a lot of this blue. And then I'll come in with some of these lighter colors and then I'll just create that. And then I'm just going to create some flowers and I'll probably use some brighter colors just to accent off some of these darker colors in the background. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So we'll jump into fast forward.
Okay, so here you're going to see me take some green paint, and rather than me blotting it like I start out doing, I actually put a bit of paint on the page and then just start swirling around, and it kind of makes it look more like grass blowing in the wind. So I like that.
Okay, so I'm liking this green down here, but this blue background is just kind of getting a little it's getting too dark for me. So I'm just going to come in with some broken china paint and I'm just going to blend that out a little bit. Okay, so I'm done my background. I like how it's quite a bit lighter in the background. It still has the texture and dimension to it, but it just kind of toned it down just a little bit. So I want to create some flowers here. So I have several different colors of paint and I just picked random, colors that I thought were kind of flowery, and I'm going to use these to paint my stems. And so just to kind of make it a little easier, I'm either going to use one of these little things. I probably don't need very much, so I could probably put my colors in these little palette things here. And I'm going to use my fingers to paint. So I'm going to have to clean my fingers off first because I don't want any of this to transfer over. So I'm going to clean that. I'm going to put the paints in here and then I'm going to jump into fast forward so you guys can see what I'm doing. So hang on tight. Okay, so you can see I have my colors in here. Now, I just recently bought this stuff and it's multimedia gloss and it says you can add it to your paints. And it says add 1 part of the paint to 2 parts of the multimedium to create transparent glazes. So, of course, these aren't all Claudine Hellmuth paint. I think one is this one. But I'm going to add some of this glaze to it anyway. I just thought that would make it really interesting for the flowers to kind of like be a little bit glossy, have a little bit of a glossier finish. So I'm going to mix those up and then I will start painting.
Okay, so now I'm taking that Claudine Hellmuth gloss multi-medium, and it says 2 parts to 1 part of paint. So I'm just taking a little popsicle stick and just going to mix the paint up. And I just did kind of 2 blobs of the gloss medium in there. I just figured I had probably about 2 parts to 1, so it did make quite a bit of extra paint. So here I'm just using my fingertip and I'm just going to make very basic flower shaped designs. And so some of the paint didn't get transferred from my finger very well, so you can just see me kind of going over top of it again. And then I wanted not just round typical flowers. I wanted kind of like some side flowers, just because flowers have a little bit of a different shapes to them. So you can see that orange one's got a little bit of a half moon shape to it. This purple one didn't turn out very well, but that's okay. We're just going to leave it the way it is. And then I'm going to make some line strokes, kind of like, I guess, I don't know flowers. So anyway, gonna add some other mediums and other little flowers and stuff like that.
Okay, so my flowers aren't dry yet, but the better portion of them is, so I'm just gonna move along and I'm just gonna start painting the stems and the flowers, and then I'm gonna set this aside to dry, and then I'll come back and title it. So I've just got some Tim Holtz Distress ink in one of these little things, and I'm just coming along and I'm just gonna draw some stems here. Now remember, this is an art journal, so it doesn't have to be completely perfect. And then I'm just going to draw a little bit of a base off of this flower here. And just come down.
Okay, so I'm not a very good painter by any means, but the way I look at it is I just wanted to create a base off of some of the flowers and then just create stems, and then I'm just going to come in with some of that lighter green paint and just create some leaves with it. And honestly, I am not a, I'm like a preschool kind of painter, so the way I look at it is it's just an art journal and it's just for basically growing your technique. So like I said, I just do it just for basicness. Now, I took that base coat of green, that darker one, which is actually the Distress Stain Mowed Lawn, and I wanted to add some shading to these flowers a bit, so I took a darker green paint, and it's actually, I think it's like a metallic green. Anyway, it adds a bit of shine to it, which I thought would kind of help make it not sit so flat with all those glossy flowers. So I'm just going to add some shading to the sides of those stems. And so I'm just doing that just to kind of make those flowers kind of pop just a little bit more against that green and that blue background. And here I'm taking this lighter green paint, and I think this is the Adirondack citrus green paint, I think is what it's called. And I'm just doing some basic leaves. So all I'm doing is I've got this really long, slim bristle brush. So I'm just sticking it down in the paint, and when I put it on the page, I just kind of like just press it in and it makes a perfect leaf shape. So like I said, I'm not a perfect artist at this. Okay, so now I wanted to put my title on here, but everything is quite detailed on this page and dark. It's a little bit of a darker tone. So I thought the only way that I could maybe get my title to stand out was with paint. Now this is the first time I've done handwriting in paint on my art journal page, and I quite like it. I'm not saying I have the best printing in the world, but I do like how this one turned out. So I would just, again, just very slowly and very carefully go and print my letters. And so my title for this page is going to be Friends Are Like Flowers. When they take root, they bloom. So again, just, pardon me, just going to write those in. And I have to go over this flower, which is a shame, but that's okay. It just kind of makes everything fit on the page and kind of makes it go. So I quite like that.
Okay, so here is the finished page, and I really like it, and it's the first time I've done printing with paint, so I really quite like it. And if you can see, those flowers are quite shiny. I really like that gesso, not gesso, it is the multi-medium in the gloss. I really quite like it. It was the first time I used it and I really like the effect of it. Adds a lot of glossy sheen to it. So if you definitely want something to stand out, that's the way to do it. So thank you everybody for watching, and stay tuned next week for a new What's Up Wednesday. Bye!